Just like an animal, we crawl out of our cages. They can't tame us. So if you're one of us, get on the bus. If you're a freak like me, wave your flag.
Hello, and welcome to the first weekly Fursuit Review Friday. Today, it's a little bit late for the video. I wanted to do it last week, but it looks like it's coming out later. Due to some technical difficulties, we're still figuring things out. But what I want to review for today is a game I played about two and a half weeks ago called Wolfenstein-The New Age, or The New Order, I don't remember. Before I get into the game, and there might be a little bit of spoilers in here, so watch out near the end of the video. But the first thing I would like to point out is that this game was a good shooter. Enjoyable and fun game to run around in. It's always fun to kill Nazis. And I love sneaking stuff. I love to sneak around in games and play a little bit of stealth combat. That was fun. Pros. The stealth combat was fun, as I just said. Knife throwing. Pretty epic. I loved it. Easy to kill people with, but sometimes it was very annoying to find knives. The skill trees. Interesting, but it kind of drew away from the game a little bit. They were fun to try and get them, but at the same time, they weren't, how can I put this? There was no real purpose to them. I mean, they didn't really pump anything that great out, and by the time you got some of them, it was so late in the game that it didn't really matter anymore. Another pro, gameplay and graphics, very, very solid. Running and gunning, shooting, good. Let's see. The graphics were really good, particularly because I bought the Xbox 360 version. Very good graphics. The storyline was decent. Now, to get into the cons. This was a good game, a good shooter, but it was not Wolfenstein. They can label whatever they want on the front of the package, but it was not Wolfenstein. I've played 2 of the previous titles for Wolfenstein, and both of them featured supernatural things, which I think made the series really fun and unique. But this game had none of that. Everything was like, technological, like they made some kind of super technology, and there was no whatsoever of any kind of supernatural anything. That makes this game just another shooter. You could have literally changed some of the textures and the character models and had a completely different game that was not titled Wolfenstein that would have been just as good. So, I mean, I enjoy killing zombies, and I like shooting Nazis, because, I mean, who doesn't? But not really a Wolfenstein game. Besides the names in it, pretty much. The characterization was okay. I liked the characters, particularly BJ Blazkowicz. You kind of, got a couple of good scenes in there with him. Now, this is the part that's a bit of a spoiler. In the end of the game, now you don't really fight a lot of crazy bosses, but in the end of the game, there's probably 3 to 4 bosses in a row that are just ridiculous. Now, not hard. They're not hard. What they are is that they have a specific sequence of things that you're supposed to do to kill them. For instance, the London Monitor. It's the only one of the bosses that I know of that actually told you what to do. But I still had to go and look up a walkthrough to figure out what that... Maybe I'm just dumb, but I had to look up a walkthrough to figure out what to do. That annoyed me, because I had no idea where the eye was. And when I finally did figure out that it was the eye, I didn't know that you had to shoot it before it fired. Later on, some of the bosses, but by the way, once you knew what to do to the boss and how to kill it, easy. Very super easy. The only difficult thing about any of the bosses, and I played it on hard, by the way, was that you had to figure out what to do while fighting him. There was also a glitch when I was fighting, big spoiler here, when I was fighting the other guy that you didn't kill. I chose the young kid to survive, so the older guy became this giant super robot thing. And the stupid thing was, I had no idea what to do. The game glitched out, it didn't give me any hints, and I was standing behind the bulletproof partition basically playing Ring Around the Rosie with him for 10 minutes trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to be doing to him. What they didn't tell you is that you gotta drop a grenade at his feet, and as soon as it blows up, you jump right on him and hit the X button really fast, and you kill him. And it does a cutscene. That's it. That's the mini boss before the major boss. Then again, major boss, you fight Death's Head. Again, major spoilers. What he does is, you have to go and cut a fence, run over to one side to get onto the AA gun, blow up the two blimps on the both sides, one on either side, and then shoot his shield out. Easy as hell. But they don't tell you what to do. They just stick you in the arena and say, there's the boss, go kill him. That's not really a boss fight. That's a scripted event. It's like QuickTime events without QuickTime buttons. It's stupid. Otherwise, the rest of the game was good. The ending, I'm sorry, was a little anticlimactic. I didn't feel like a lot of climax at the end of the game. If I had to give it a 1 out of number 1 to 10, I would say the game was probably in the ballpark of like a 6. It really bummed me out that it really had nothing to do with Wolfenstein besides having Nazis and BJ Blazkowicz. It just wasn't a Wolfenstein game. It was basically just a first-person shooter with some Nazis and robots thrown in. Another thing that aggravated me was you had your normal soldier, right? And you had your super soldier and your giant robots. Those guys that always came in with the miniguns and shotguns that were heavily armored, I don't understand why I could literally kill a Nazi with a pistol and he'd be dead in 2 shots, no problem. Even if I kind of grazed him with one of them. 2 shots, no problem with a silenced pistol, okay? But these guys could take 20 rounds point blank from a shotgun and not die. That's a little ridiculous for the difficulty scale, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. The game just aggravated me. It wasn't Wolfenstein. It had a couple of broken mechanics in it that didn't really work the way they should have. And the scaling was not really where it should have been. Otherwise, would I suggest to play? For about 18, 20 hours of gameplay, decent story, I'd say 6 out of 10. I wouldn't pay more than $25 for it. I ended up trading it in and getting Diablo 3, the expansion. Much better game. I will link up some pictures and stuff during the video for you guys to look at. So, that was Furry Review Fridays number 1. And I will see you next week with another review of another game.